Hey guys, John back with another Sudoku. And for those of you who are new to this channel, which is everybody, since this is a brand new channel, I am a amateur Sudoku enthusiast. I don't claim to be at any level whatsoever, and I like to solve these puzzles. So let's get started on another one here. Let's see. Okay, I always start from the top, and I just try to get I try to eliminate or narrow it down to two cells in each box if I can. So there's ones. I don't think I can get any more help there. Anything with twos? No. Threes can only be there. What about up top or anything? Okay, or they can be here. Nothing in the middle. Fours. Okay, a four must live there, which means fours must live there. So here's interesting. There's a 1-4 on the middle and the right and a 1-4 on the middle. So this must be a 1-4 combo, and that makes that a 3. So I can go 3, 3, that's a 3. So that means that's a 3. And then a 3 has to live here because of that 3 and has to live there. So that looks pretty darn good. What about ones again? Does this 1-4 help us at all? Let's see. 4, not really. Um, Oh, this has to be a 4 has to live there, and a 4 has to live somewhere there. Okay, fives. Okay, so a 5 can't be in the middle here. It has to live on this side of the middle. So fives live there. Fives live down there. That's a 5, and that's a 5, so a 5 must live there. Oh, look at this. A 5 can't go there, so a 5 must be on this side, which rules out this 5, which means that has to be a 5 right there. Okay, sixes. Anything up here? Sixes. We got an offset. Sixes have to live there. And again, these are just how these sixes interact with each other. So I'm not going to go through every single step, but that's that. Sevens. Boom. Sevens. Ah, look. Sevens there and can't be there. We know that's a 1-4 combo, so that has to be the 7, and then that means that's a 7. That means the sevens live there, and that means sevens live here, which means 7 is here. If you guys have any questions about how I made a deduction or anything like that, you can always ask down in the comments, and I'm happy to just give me a timestamp and what you have a question about, and I'm happy to answer it. 8, that has to be at 8, and those have to be 8s. Anything else from 8s? What about 9s? Anything? Okay, 9s have to live on the bottom there, and they have to live on the top there. Okay, so that's one time through. So then I go back and I just go through again because we had a lot of markings. So I just start with ones again and see if we can still rule out anything else. So nothing more with ones. What about twos? Nothing more with twos. What about threes? Threes are good. Fours. Ah, so those can't be fours. The 4 has to live there. So that means that that's a 4, which means that's a 4. So that's good, which means that's a 1 because we had that narrowed down to a 1-4 combo. Okay, now look here in this column. There's 7 accounted for. So these have to be one of two numbers, and those two numbers are a 2 or an 8. Have to live in those squares, which means the numbers missing here are a 5 or a 9. So those have to be a 5 or a 9. And that's just deducing by what numbers are already there. Okay, anything else? What about eights? Anything else with eights? Okay, 8 on the left, 8 in the middle, so eights have to live on this side somewhere. Eights, anything else with eights? Um, okay, well that's done. Nines, did we already do that? I lose track, man. I got no attention span whatsoever. Okay, so let's look. Then I start looking for rows or columns that have 6. So this one, like this one. So there's only 3 empty squares, and you're only missing the numbers 2, 5, or a 7 have to live in these 3 squares because they're the only numbers not accounted for. So this square right here has to be a 5 because there's a 2 and a 7, and those cannot live here. So that's a 5, which means these squares are a 2 or a 7. Let's see if 5s. Okay, 5s go all the way down and all the way over, so that means those two are a 5. And anything else with that? Okay, this column here only has three numbers left. So it's going to be a 1, 6, or a 9. Okay, there's a 9 there, so that means this is a 1 or a 6. This can be a 1, 6, or a 9. And because of this 6, that can only be a 1 or a 9. Okay, anything else? Let's see here. Any other columns, rows, boxes that have 6 in it? Anything whatsoever? Doesn't look like it. So let's see. Let's do ones again. Sometimes you got to do this a few times, or at least I do. There might be a different method. Ah, look, 1. So we know that a 1 must live here within that row. So that rules out a 1 cannot go there or here. So a 1 must live in one of those two squares for that box, which means, does it mean anything? We don't know. Ah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what numbers are we missing? We're missing 2, 6, 8, 9. So here's a 2 and an 8 here, so that means this is a 6 or a 9. There's an 8 or a 9, so that means that's a 2 or a 6. Up here we have a 9, so that's 2, 6, 8, and then this could be any of them here. 2, 6, 8, 9. So what are we missing in? We're missing 2, 6, 8, 9 in this column too. So there's 9s here. So this cannot be a 9. So this is definitely 2, 6, or 8. Okay, that doesn't help much. Okay, 5, 9 here. So we only have two squares left, 2, 6, or 8. So that means because of this 6, that's a 2 or an 8. And this up here can be a 2, 6, or an 8. Okay, let's see. 2s. Nothing. 3s. Anything? What about this square? Let's see. 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 can go in any of these squares, and then this whole thing is accounted for. 1, 5, 6. Okay, what about this one? 1, 2, 3. Okay, what about 4s? 4s can only go there. What about 5s? 5s are marked already. 6s? 6 cannot go there. 6s are marked. 7s, 8s, 9s can go. 5 there. Okay. Ah, this can't be a 9 because the 9 can only live here, so it can't live anywhere else on this entire line. Okay, so that's good. Ah, which means that's a 1 because this can only be a 1, 6, or a 9. Can't be a 6 or a 9, so it has to be a 1, which means a 1 lives up here, which means, because of that 9, that's a 6, that's a 9, that's a 6. Okay, 6 can only be in one of those two squares. Um, there's only 3 left here, 2, 7, or a 9. A 9 on the bottom, a 7 can only be there, a 2 could be there, technically. Okay, anything else? Anything else that we can see that's pretty obvious? We're making some decent headway. Sometimes it'll turn on you quick, so I don't want to get too cocky, but for right now, it's okay. 5. This was a 5-9 combo, and there's a 9 there, so that's a 5, which means that's a 9, which means the 9 lives up there. 2, 6, 8, 9. Oh, 6, 8, 9. So that means that's a 2, which means the 2 lives there. This is a 1, 5 combo on this bottom line. So let's see, 1, 2, 5, 9. Okie dokie. Is there more headway to be made here? 2, 6, 8, 9, 2, 8. I'll start from the 9. Sometimes I'll just go backwards, just if anything, just for a change of pace. So 9s are all marked and all everywhere except these could be a 9. Okay, let's try 8s. 8s can live here, 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 literally anywhere there. We got that marked, that marked. Okay, 8s are accounted for. 7s, 1, 2, 3. They live on the bottom here. 7s are all marked. 6s. 6s are all marked, believe it or not. Oh, we're almost all marked here. Let's see. 5s. Ah, 5s. 5s can go anywhere there or here. And I think we're all done with 5s. What about 4s? 4s are good. 3s. 3s are good. 2s? Okay, 2s. These could all be 2s. 2s could be anywhere here. And other than that, 2s are good and 1s. Okay, 1s are not marked. 1s, 1, any of these can be 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, I think we have everything marked. So let's see what else we can learn from this little puzzle. So now I'm going around and I'm looking in lines, columns, or boxes for like doubles, triples, quadruples even, numbers that can only live in 2, 3, 4 places, something like that. So let's see if we can find one that jumps out at us quickly. Sometimes they're a little easier to find than others. And again, if you're looking at the screen yelling, I cannot hear you, and I am not seeing what you are seeing. So bear with me. I apologize. I know it's probably frustrating at times, but you just see what you see. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Okay, look at this. Okay, this column here. So there's a 2, 9, 2, 9. These two have to be a 2 and a 9. So they can't live anywhere else. So that can't be a 2. That's a 6. Didn't really help us for crap, but we'll see if we get anything out of that. Not really. 4, 5, 5, 9. 1, 5, 1, 8. Let's look at 2s. Did that help us any other way there? Not really. Not really. Let's look at 1s. Can we rule out anything now? 2s. We just looked at 3s. No. 4s. No. 5. 5. Anything here with our beloved 5s? Ah, yes. So there's an empty rectangle. So if this was a 5, then none of these could be 5s. Now, if this was a 5, that would give no room for these to be 5s. I'll show you why. If that was a 5, then that would mean this is a 5, because it's the only one left on that line, which would rule out 5s in this box. There's nowhere for a 5 to go. So that's why this cannot be a 5. So you can rule it out. That's called an empty rectangle. Actually pretty easy to find once you get used to it. At first they're a little bit hard, but you get the hang of it. No problem. Oh, thought we had a skyscraper, but we do not. So let's move on. Let's keep going to 6s. 6s, nothing. 7s, nothing. 7s, 8s. Okay, this feels like something, but is it something? That is the question of the day, and I am not seeing it if it is. So 9s. Nothing with 9s. Okay, so now we are left with going back through and seeing if anything jumps out at us. 2, 8, 6, 9, 2, 7, 1, 4, 6. We already did that one. 1, 3, 6, 1, 6, 1, 5, 7, 1, 5, 277828. That was a possible XYZ wing, I think they call it. Um, 6816. Let's see here. Hmm, let's see here. Oh, look at this. That one. Those are those cannot be ones because of that one. That was just a I just mismarked that. Oh, look at this. 2828. Ah, I love this one. Okay. 28282828. This square right here cannot be, has to be a 5, or else there'd be more than one solution because the 2 8 could go in either square. 282828. You can never have four squares like this be 2828. So that's a 5. If you have a question, let me know in the comment, but that's definitely a 5. 2828 means that's not an 8. 13136116. Okay, 13136116. Okay, fives. Anything with that? Ah, look, this is the only 5 in this line now, so that's a 5. Oh no, oops. That's a 5, which means that's a 5. That's a 5. That's a 1. That's a 1. Uh-oh, we're breaking apart here a little bit, guys. Did we crack the case? Did we crack the case? Oh boy, it feels like it. It feels like we cracked the case. Oh yeah. Oh no, we cracked it. We are done. This is going swimmingly. Okay, fours. Now we're just, I mean, this is the easy part. So that little unique rectangle is what got us through the case. And we are solved. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will go back and just timestamp it for me and we can figure it out together. Thank you.